Lovely. Good night, everyone. Welcome back to another session. Welcome back to Manchester Institute of Learning Online Learning Hub. My name is Mr. Peart, and I will be your instructor for tonight. And happy to see back my students again. In our last class, we had introduced a fundamental concept known as, I'm so sorry, there are persons that are still joining the class late. I do apologize for that. Don't know why this is so. Okay, just give me a second, guys. And the names, you all need to ensure that when you're coming into the Zoom class, you have a name that I can identify. Because, you have unscrupulous persons that will send the link to their friends and then no, it does not make any sense. All right. So please ensure that your name is as on your class pass so I can add you to the class. If I don't see a name, then I will remove you from the class. Okay. So Galaxy A02 and whoever have a Galaxy A02. Okay. All right. Nevertheless, we're going to start. Well, Latisha, ensure that your name is Latisha on Zoom when you're entering the class, okay? Please. Because you might get kicked out of the class for no reason. All right? Good. Wonderful. All right. Good night, everybody. So we're going to start. It's 11 minutes past our starting time. All right. Good. So here we go. In our last class, we had quite an interesting discussion. I believe that everybody enjoyed the class. Thank you, Ms. McClarty, for the compliment. It was greatly appreciated. I do my very best and give my 150% whenever I'm teaching. So fret not thyself, Mr. Peart is always going to be here. Unless it's circumstances beyond my control that will allow me not to be here. So as you can see here, zooming up a little bit, this is kind of like what we went through. Okay, I have an infinite board. So we cannot lose the information. So ladies and gentlemen who are just joining for the first time, the recording will be posted on my YouTube channel over the course of the weekend, and you will be notified in the group whenever the link is available. If you are subscribed to the channel, then you should be notified, and then you can click see or watch later whenever a time convenient to you. But as you've seen on the screen here is exactly a few of the stuff that we went through in our last class, where we looked at negative and positive numbers. And in my opinion, I thought it was a really good one. Okay, and we had a lot of interactions and person get stuff right and get stuff wrong. Okay, so that's what we did. So should you be interested in seeing back what that interaction was like, just give me some time, guys. I've gotten access to the website. I've gotten access to the recordings. I'm just waiting for the admin password to unlock it, and then I'll release it on my channel, and you guys can watch it at any time convenient to you if you are new. Okay. Well, we must move on. But before we move on, obviously, we're gonna have to do a quick little recap with just a single question, just to get everybody's brain working again. Yes? So let's get into it then. In our last class, we looked at negative and positive numbers, and we did say that negative and positive numbers are going to be seen. We're going to observe them differently. All right. And we did say that negative and negative numbers will represent an amount that we owe, and positive numbers will represent an amount that we have. All right. Repeating that. A negative number represents an amount that is owed, and positive number represents an amount that we have. Miss Hyman, you will find the link to the YouTube channel in the group. So click on the pin chat. You will find the link to that YouTube channel, okay? It's right in the group. So if you go in the group and click at the top, pin comment, you should find the link that will take you to the channel. If not, I'll send it. I'll have one of my students send it back in the group for you, okay? All right, so if we see this -1 here, what does it mean? -1 means that we owe an amount of 1. And positive 2 means that we have an amount of 2. That's what we had discussed. We have an amount of 2. So should you get a question like, say, 10 minus 18 plus 14 minus 12 minus 8 minus 4. If you get a question like this and you're asked to evaluate this question and to find the solution, as discussed in the last class, we are going to be creating what is called cases. And a case is created when you put two numbers in a bracket like that. And each case will produce a different outcome. Whatever the case is, then the case can either come out to be negative or it can either come out to be positive. And so depending on what the outcome is, you write down the correct sign. So if the outcome is that you still owe an amount, then you put negative. And if the outcome is that you still have left over, you write a positive number. Example, 10 minus 18. 10 represents an amount that you have. And the negative 18 represents an amount that you owe, right? Because negative means owe. So therefore, if I only have 10 and I initially borrowed 18, it simply means after paying the 10, I'm still going to owe an amount of 8. Moving to the second case, we have an amount of 14 and we had borrowed an amount of 12. Borrowed or owed is the same thing in this context. So we owe 12. When you pay the 12 you owe, you will realize that you still have an amount of 2 left over. And the final case, which is this case right here, you don't have anything to pay. You don't have anything to pay. So since you don't have anything to pay, you're going to just add up what you owe. You had initially borrowed 8, and then you went ahead and you went ahead to borrow another 4 more on that 8. So basically in total, you end up owing an amount of 12. All right. And we already discussed the persons who would have come into this class with prior knowledge, stating that negative and negative equal positive, there is no sign of any multiplication. So therefore then, for those of you who are thinking that when the teacher says 2 negative gives a positive, it means that when you're multiplying, only when you're multiplying, then the result is going to be positive. Otherwise, it remains negative. Therefore then, we're going to create another case here. Now, in this case, minus 8 represents the amount that is owed, and positive 2 represents an amount that we have. So therefore, if you owe 8 and you have 2, you're only going to pay the 2 that you have, which leaves you with you owing an amount of 6 minus 12. And then finally, negative 6 minus 12 is equal to minus 18. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to join the class late, you need to tell me, because I'm still seeing persons messaging me saying I should let them in. So I don't want to have to switch my screen again. All right, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you can join early, I would greatly appreciate it. All right. And if you get kicked out, just send me a message in the group to say I get kicked out. All right, please. All right. So assuming, and this is me assuming, I'm making an educated guess. Assuming that everyone here understands what we have done last class along with the revision that we just did, then we can proceed into what we're going to be learning tonight. And tonight we're going to be moving on to the next phase. And that phase is what we call the order of operations. All right, so we're going to step it up a little bit. So tonight's topic, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be order of operations. Order of operations. Let's grab a little notepad here. You can use a green one this time. And we're going to talk about that order of operations. So order, I cannot spell. Order of operations. So what does the order of operations entail? What are we expecting to look at? What is the order of operations? Well, just by the title, order of operations, order means something that You can do that next class, Letitia. Right now, you're already in the class, so that's fine. We don't need to do all of that right now. Next time, I'll just ensure that your name is there. Okay? So, order of operations. So, what exactly are we looking at tonight? Well, let's start off by looking at the word order and then look at the word operations. Order means something in a sequence. We must do something after something or do something before something, right? So order means sequence. And it's math. So really and truly, the only thing we're most likely going to be expected to do is maybe ask you to add something or multiply something or ask you to divide something um or even as asking you to subtract something. So really and truly, no matter how difficult a person say math is, it really boils down to your ability to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. The problem when it comes to the order of operations is with the order of operations, you must therefore do something before something, right? You cannot just get up and just work the problem according to how you feel, or you can't just get up and work the problem from left to right. Sometimes the math problem will have more than one operations in the same question, and you're going to be required to work one before the other. So essentially then what we refer to as the order of operations is the sequential order is the sequential order in which mathematical operations must be carried out. Okay? So order of operations is the sequential order in which mathematical operations must be carried out. Full stop. Okay? Let's save that right here. Let's move this up right here and let's get right into it. So what is the order of operations? How do we know what to do, when and where? What exactly is this? We abbreviate, if you want to call it that. It's really a mnemonic, but no, some person call it acronym, some person call it mnemonic, some person call it what they want to call it, okay? But we're going to call this, say here, the PEMDAS rule. I need to get a brighter pen. Give me a sec. Brighter pen. Let's get it up here. Okay. All right, lovely. Let's see if you can zoom it up a little bit. All right, lovely. Nice. All right, so we're going to go ahead then. I'm going to look at, say, here. So what we're looking at, guys, is P, E, M, D, A, S. All right. And this is a mnemonic that we refer to as the order of operations mnemonic. What we do is that we use each letter in this mnemonic to represent a particular operation in math, right? Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with this rule as being BODMAS or BOMDAS or GEMDAS or BIMDAS or all sort of different das, right? Essentially, I just use one of them and I just master it and then I just stick with it. So for years, I've been teaching it from the point of view PEMDAS. But if you go on YouTube or you go on Google and type in order of operations, you're going to find different teachers teaching it from different point of view. The point is they all will explain the same thing. They are explaining to you the order in which mathematical operations must be done. So that's exactly what they're all explaining to you. Yes? So here we go. We're going to look at this. Let me pull up my chat to make sure that it is talking to me. Okay, wonderful. So obviously, then, I'm sure if I ask you what does the M stand for, what does the D stand for, what does the A stand for, what does the S stand for, anybody, anywhere, anytime will tell me what the meaning of those are. However, this remains a question mark. You must be asking yourself, I have never heard of an operation in math that begins with P or E. Well, it's not really an operation, guys. It's just a portion of the question where we I don't know how to say it. All right, I don't know if there's a mathematical name for it, but the P is not an actual operation. It's a section of the problem that you're required to do first. And the P stands for parentheses. Parentheses. What is a parentheses? Ask my students. So let's write this down. Parentheses. 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 What exactly is a parentheses? Well, a parentheses is essentially a curve bracket like this, right? It's a curve bracket. A lot of you guys refer to the parentheses as being a bracket, but really and truly, this is what we call a bracket, ladies and gentlemen. It's the square one that's called a bracket, not the curved one. So the curved one is called the parentheses, and the square one is called the bracket. Essentially, though, both of them serve the same purpose. The purpose of the parentheses is to group numbers or to associate numbers. You use them when you want to specifically tell the marker who is marking your book or marking your paper that this is the portion of the problem that you're working. So essentially, we just kind of use it to say, hey, this is the part of the problem that I am calculating, right? So it's not really an operation. It's just more like, I don't want to use the incorrect term because the class is being recorded. So another math teacher might hear and say I'm silly. So for now, just work with the fact that we use it and we say that we use it for grouping numbers, okay? When I learn the correct term, I will let you know. All right, lovely. So that's what it is used for, okay? All right, now the E. Is the E an operation? No, it's not. It's just a particular type of calculation that pops up now and again. And so that E stands for exponent. That is EXPONENT. Exponent. A lot of you prior students from the past, you would recognize exponent with using a different word, and that word we know it as power. Power, raising a number to a power. So when a number has an exponent, we also can say that the number is raised to a particular power. So the power could be, I don't know, power of 2. For example, let me give you some examples. It could be something like 2 to the power of 2. That's an example of an exponential quantity. Or it could be something like a raised to the power of -4. Could be a letter as well. When we're doing algebra, we're going to look at that. Or it could simply be something like, something funny, something like, let's look at 10 raised to the power of a half, okay? So when we get to the topic of exponential expressions, we're going to look at all of these types. But for now, what we're looking at here is working with numbers raised to a power in its simplest form. Something like 2 squared or 2 cubes or 3 to the power of 4, something like that. Nothing difficult, yes? All right, so now that you basically have an idea of what a power is, we're going to get to that shortly. By the end of the class, all of this will make sense to you. The M stands for multiplication, which I'm assuming that you guys would perhaps guess. Like multiplication. The D stands for division. The A stands for addition. And the S stands for subtraction. All right. I need to drop a few synonyms into this as well for the future. And a synonym for multiplication is product. All right. Just adding this extra information here. A synonym for division is quotient. 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 A synonym for addition is sum. Just drop that in right there. And a synonym for subtraction is difference. Okay, so just in the event you meet upon these words in the future, you'll have at least said, hey, Mr. Peart actually showed me what this is. Yes? All right, lovely. So that is the breakdown of the mnemonic PEMDAS. All right, that's what PEMDAS mean. P, parentheses, E, exponent, M, multiplication, D, division, A addition, and S subtraction. All right? Now, what do we need to do next? We need, and before we get into the calculation, we actually need to zone in on something very, very important here. And this important part, as you can see, I'm really zooming up on it here. And this part of it is the part where we looked at operations that are tied for priority. What do you mean by tied for priority, Mr. Peart? Tied for priority means that M&D is always wrestling for who should be done first. Okay? And a way how I used to explain this to my students in my physical class, like my face-to-face class, is I give them an example of two persons going into a store. And when you go into a store, it's natural that if you enter the store first, not true, you want to be served first, not true. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer and I'm a regular civil servant. The point is, if I go into a store, right? If I go into a store and me in the store and I'm in the store before you, I expect to be served before you. It's the same thing with math. M&D is always wrestling. They're always going back and forth with each other. They'll always, sometimes M says, do me first before you do the D. And then the next time D comes up and be like, hey, do me first before you do the M. Similar situation occurs with addition and subtraction. They're always wrestling with each other as to who should be done first. Who should I do first? It really boils down to one thing and one thing only. All right, and just not to make it sound too complicated, it simply boils down to which of the operation is on the left versus which one is on the right. That's what it boils down to. All right. So if and when you go on any other YouTube channel except for mine, and you're saying, hey, let me just check out another channel, because not everybody is going to learn from my style of teaching. You may be able to learn from the style of teaching live, like how I'm teaching now, but then you prefer to kind of watch another YouTube video to, solidify what I've told you. So you might go on YouTube, you might go on YouTube, and when you go on YouTube, what you're going to hear is they say that M and D are tied for priority. So they put an OR right here, and they put an OR right here. What is the OR for? Option, right? Many students oftentimes will say that the teacher said, you should always multiply, then divide. You have students that will run away with that information. Oh, you didn't get all the definition, Antonella? Okay, give me a second. I'm going to zoom out for yourself a little bit. Okay, here you go. Is that fine? Is that fine? That should be fine by now. Yes, perfect. Wonderful. All right, then. So you will have students that will run away with the information stating that, and I'm not saying you're that student, I'm just saying students will run away with the information stating that the teacher said they should always multiply before they divide. And that is not always the case, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry. There's somebody that keeps asking me to let them in. 714. Oh, that person would have been let in already. Okay. All right. Right. Thank you, Antonella, for sending the link to the YouTube channel. Appreciate that. Okay, good. All right. So, students, do not run away with the information stating that I said multiply, then divide. I did not. I said you are to multiply or divide depending on which one appears in the question first. What do you mean, Mr. Peart? Let me explain using examples. Examples will make everything make sense to you. All right, let's zoom down here. Here we go. All right, we're going to start off with some fundamental examples. And these fundamental examples will make everything become clear to you. Yes? So here we go. Here we go. All right, now, here's an example. You're asked to work out this very simple problem here. 9 multiplied by 4 divided by 6. Very simple math problem, right? Anybody can do that. Because a student is naturally going to go ahead and they are going to multiply. They are going to multiply. They are going to go ahead and they're going to say 9 times 4, and they're going to put the 36 right here, and then you're going to naturally divide by 6, and then you're going to get a nice clean answer at 6. Very, very simple. And then on the other hand, they might get the similar question, different numbers, but similar question, 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 4, or multiplied by 5. 10 divided by 2 multiplied by 5. Naturally, the student is going to go ahead and divide. Well, I'm saying naturally. Why I say naturally is I'm expecting the student to realize that they should actually work what is on the left, followed by what is on the right. But here comes that student. Here comes that student that for some reason had selective hearing and said, no, Mr. Peart said that you should always multiply before you divide. Did Mr. Peart say that? No, I did not. I did not say that. What I said was, if division comes before multiplication, you're going to divide before you multiply. Similarly, if multiplication, like in example number 1, appears before division, you're going to multiply, then you're going to divide. So because multiplication and division is always wrestling, they're always at each other as it relates to who comes first, then you will find students making that odd mistake here or there. Okay? So be very, very mindful that you are not that student who will make that error. All right? So here's what you're going to do, guys. Here, you're just going to go ahead then and divide. In this case, you have to divide before you multiply. So 10 divided by 2, that's going to give us 5. And then 5 multiplied by 5 is equal to 25. Let's stop for a second here. Let's look at the student who broke the rule. Let's look at if the student is going to get an answer. The student now will see 10, that odd student who missed my class, or that student who may have selected what they wanted to hear. They would have went ahead and be like, oh, Mr. Peart says I should multiply first. So they're going to go ahead and do this. And 10 divided by 10, and they're going to get 1. And they will leave that examination room submitting their paper with the answer 1. And when they get it back, what you're going to see is this. Incorrect. They're going to see that. They're going to ask, Mr. Peart, why? How did I get this question wrong? Well, you got the question wrong simply because you broke the rule. You broke the rule because you multiplied before you divided, and it was very evident that division appeared before multiplication. To verify this information, you can use your calculator and you can type it exactly in and see what happens. So we're in competition mode now. Is the answer 25 or is the answer 1? Let's check it. 10 divided by 2 times 5. Let's check it. Let's check it. Everybody loves the calculator. Not true? So let's see. 10 divided by 2 times 5. Is that what we had on the screen? Let's press equal. Is it 25 or is it 1? Aha, it's 25. So it cannot be 1. Why? Because the rule was broken. The rule is, if you get a math problem that consists, or there is a competition between multiplication and division, remember that the operation that is on the left must be done before the operation on the right. Otherwise, you will get an answer that is completely inaccurate. All right? Remember, rules rule mathematics. Break the rule, you're going to get an incorrect X, like what you're seeing on the screen. And I'm sure that you guys would prefer to get something looking more like this. You'd prefer to get this question, this sort of sign, right? Not true? That's the one you want, right? I am very, very sure that you want to get this right here. Sticky. Lovely. So now that we have cleared up that ambiguity when it comes to multiplication and division, then it's very, very similar to that of addition and subtraction. So addition and subtraction, them two, they always a wrestle, right? And I don't think this one gives students as much trouble, or it does. I don't think it gives students as much trouble, multiply and divide, but it does cause a little problem here or there. For example, let's say we see something like 10 minus 4 plus 6. Once again, you're going to have that student, the student with the selective hearing, that student that stated that Mr. Peart said, he said that I should add before I subtract. I did not say that. I did not say that. What Mr. Peart said is, if you have addition and subtraction in the same question, then you're going to do whichever one comes first. So in this case, you will go ahead and you will subtract before you add. 10 minus 4 is 6. 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. Not true? All right. Now, what if, let's just say, what if a student just determine, okay, some students know them determine, say, so them do the maths, so them do it, and then not change. They not busy when me want to say. All right, and then, me not care what them want to do, I am going to what? Mark you wrong if you break the rule. So, let's write back the same question. This student is determined to add before he or she subtracts. What's going to happen to that student? That student can get the answer right, and that student can also get the question incorrect, depending on what they do here. Now look at this question, and look at this. This student, student number 1, is going to do this. Put the bracket here, put the bracket there. This student is going to have 10 minus 10, and it's going to get 0. Right? That's what the student is going to do. And then you're going to have the other student who is very, very smart. Them determined to add before them subtract, but they were in my last class where we do this. They were in my last class where we spoke extensively about the importance of watching the signs that comes before the number. So you have that smart student, right? That is determined, no matter what, he or she is determined to add before they subtract, but they also know that this number is not a 4, but it's a minus 4. Do you guys see the difference between what I did in this question and in this one? In example number 1, I placed the bracket in between the sign of the 4 and the negative. So doing that, what you've actually done is that you've changed the perception of the number. You've changed the negative 4, which was what it was, and by putting the bracket between the sign and the number, you're now seeing that number as being a positive 4. So therefore, in your brain, you're saying to yourself, it is 10, take away the result of 4 plus 6. And that's why you're getting the question wrong. However, the next student is going to say, no, but Mr. Peart teach this last class. He said that if there's a sign that is in front of the number, it belongs to the number. So this smart student is going to go ahead and say, oh, negative 4 is an amount that you what? Owe, and 6 is an amount that you have. Should I pay the 4 that I owe? Then it means that I will still have 2 left over. Therefore, the answer is 12. So both of these students are correct. The difference is this student over here is following the exact rule of PEMDAS. This student is still doing what they want, but they are very smart. This student knows that when they're grouping the numbers, they should pay attention to their sign. Which one is easier? I don't know. You tell me. It is your choice. You have a decision to make. I cannot make that decision for you. All right? So far, the floor is open. Are there any questions? You can say what you want to say in the chat. I am looking. Any questions, anyone? Before we combine the questions, are there any questions, any inquiry? Nothing? I'm zooming out. Everybody good? And I see the chat light up, what's going on? Everybody understand? Ajir says he's good. Mr. Hansen says he gets it. Dominique says I'm good. Simonia says yes, sir. Miss Gentle says good. So could you go over it one more time? No problem. Which part of it, Antonella? Which part exactly you want me to go back over? Samantha says good. Galaxy, that is Latisha says yes. I understand, sir. Abigail, that's good. Miss Hyman, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, wonderful. Antonella, which part is confusing you? Which part do you want me to go back over? Exactly. Right. Oh, so it's this part that you want me to go back over? This part with the minus sign right here? Okay. So it's just a case where when you're placing down the bracket, Miss Peart. Oh Lord, this may married down Miss Peart. Antonella, what I'm trying to say here essentially is not to complicate the concept. It's just to make you very much aware that when you're bracketing stuff, make sure say if you're going to put brackets in the question, be very mindful of the sign. Notice what we did here. You place the bracket in between the sign and the 4. So the 4 was actually negative before the bracket was there. Now, because you put the bracket in between the sign and the number, you then therefore change what the number is appearing to be. So you're now saying to yourself, without even knowing that this is 4 plus 6, when in reality, it really wasn't 4. It was actually negative 4. So that's just a case where you just have to be very mindful. If you decide to follow or break the rule, make sure so you counteract breaking the rule by bracketing the numbers correctly. Like, for example, in this part here. Okay? So you just have to just be very mindful, but it's not that complicated. All right? So hopefully that clears up your question. All right, lovely. Let us continue. All right, let us continue. Now, there are going to be situations where we're not fighting for priority. Okay? For example, if you get a question like this, and this catch students all the time, I guarantee you. And if you're honest to yourself, you'll say, sir, me not tell a lie. This catch me enough time. 9. Why is this? Okay, here we go. I'm zooming up. The zoom up is good. I think it's good enough. All right, so let's say we end up with something like 9 minus 3 times 4. How many times have you as a student went ahead and just said 9 minus 3 is 6 and 6 times 4 is 24? Be honest, I'm looking at the chat. Is there anyone here who, given this question, you would have said 9 minus 3 is 6, 6 times 4 is 24? Lovely. I love honest students. If you know said this would not catch you, be honest. First thing to becoming a better student is to admit that all the time is barely that catch you. Not true? Of course. Now, because you're in Mr. Pierce's class, yeah man, Shania, we know so that will catch you. Right? So, because you're in this class now, you know, so we clear up everything. Right? Yeah man, Simonia, we know so that will catch you. Because naturally, it's just what the brain wants to do. The brain wants to work the problem from left to right. And so you're realizing here that if you subtract before you multiply, you've broken. It's almost like you're broken one of the commandments of mathematics. You cannot do that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to PEMDAS. PEMDAS. It don't look like M and S is in competition. No, they're not tied for priority. It's almost like a policeman and you going to KFC. Best believe this policeman is going to get through before you. Not care how long you're in that line. He will get through before you. Why? He's a civil servant and he must have to go back on the work. You can't take him off of duty. Doesn't matter. So it's the same situation here. 9 minus 3 multiplied by 4. You must multiply first. This CSEC do this to people all the time. All the time. You know when they do it to you? They do it to you in a fractions and they do it to you when you're doing decimals. So be very mindful. Let them know that this will never happen to me ever again in my life. You are going to multiply before you divide. Sorry, before you subtract, okay? So you're going to go ahead and multiply before you divide, before you subtract. So we're going to bring back down the 9. Bring back down the minus, then we're going to say 3 times 4 is 12. And then naturally, we're going to end up with negative 3. Because the 9 is an amount that you have, and the 12, which is negative, is an amount that you owe. So by paying the 9 that you have, you still end up owing 3. let us verify with our calculator. So, our calculator is always right. I hope you believe that. 9 minus 3 times 4. On the count of 1, what is our answer? -3. Aha, there we go. -3. So your sister will be following the rule because the calculator, which is a certain type of computer, you want to call it that, it is programmed to do what PEMDAS does. If you do it one way and then you put that information on the calculator and you and the calculator get two different answers, the calculator is right and you are wrong. Guaranteed. Okay? So now, understand, ladies and gentlemen, do not break the rule, especially when the operations aren't tied for priority. Similarly, when we have something like this, then you end up having, give me a second here, guys. Okay, Leah says she's so sorry. All right, so now we end up having a question like this then. Let's say we have something like 15 minus 2 times 3. I'm sure, I am very sure that most of you guys will end up with an answer that is equivalent to 39. Because you guys are going to say 15 minus 2 is 13. And then run to your calculator and say 13 minus 3 is 39. And then all I'm going to do is just grab this beautiful X, stretch it like that, and just move it right in front of it. And you're incorrecto. Incorrecto. Why are you incorrect? You broke the rule. Let's turn this X into a tick. What is it that we must do? We must obey the rule of PEMDAS. So therefore then, to work this question, you're going to work the multiplication part first. So that's going to end up being what? 15 take away 6. So your answer is 9. Let's check our calculator. 15 take away 2 times 3. Let's check it. Clear? 15 take away 2 times 3. 9. So we are on par. We are working with the rule of PEMDAS. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you guys are following. Is there or are there any questions? I can now finally give you your tick. So this is the correct answer, and this is the incorrect one. Okay? All right. Are there any questions? Everybody's following so far. Are we ready to piece them all and to make a beautiful puzzle? Everybody good? Check in the chat. Is everybody good? As once I move on, all right? Miss Gentle says okay. Simonia's thumbs up. Miss Bailey is good. Miss Bailey says yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So, sir, when we're multiplying first, we leave the other signs out. When we're multiplying first, we leave... yes. That's what you do, Chelsea. Once you're multiplying first, you leave the signs out. It's going to come back. So I get what you mean. You're asking if I should just like maybe put the bracket in front of the -2. You can do that as well because the multiplication will not be affected by the sign. Okay? But the correct thing to do as you're inquiring, Chelsea, is to put the bracket in front of the negative. So yes, Chelsea, you are correct. Thank you for that correction. What we should actually do, ladies and gentlemen, is to put the bracket like that. Okay? That's the correct thing to do. All right, Samantha says, is it only when adding and subtracting that we include the signs to the left? So Chelsea and you is asking the same question, Miss Jones. I just corrected it. I really should put the sign in front of the -2 times 3. That's the correct thing to do. But you see, because there's some things that in math, when you do certain things, you'll get away with it. The correct thing to do is what I just erased. This, you'll get away with it because the minus does not affect the multiplication or the product. All right? So yes, Mr. Jones, you are correct. You're supposed to bracket the signs that is in front of the 2. All right, but you're gonna see that you're gonna still get the same answer. All right, lovely. Awesome. All right, I don't see a lot of names in the chat. I'm seeing the same. What about Horatio and the other persons? Where are you guys? I guess you guys understand, you just don't want to talk. All right, okay, no problemo. It's okay, you don't have to talk to me. It's fine. Let's piece it on together. Let us piece it on together. So now, you're going to be asked to evaluate a certain particular problem. And so you're going to be asked to evaluate something like, let's zoom it up here. All right, here we go. Evaluate 10 minus 9. Okay, let's not use 10 minus 9. Let us just use a different thing. Hold on, guys, just a second. Let's use 15 minus 9 times 3 plus 8 divided by 2. And you ask to evaluate that problem, and you aren't supposed to use a calculator. You can use the calculator and get the answer, but if you don't show me the working out, I'm taking back my marks. So I'll give you 2 marks for this. And if you type it into the calculator and write down the answer, I'm going to take back 1.5 mark. Because you didn't do any work, it's the calculator that did it. So you need to show working. And you have to practice to show working from a fundamental point of view. So when you reach up to the top guns them and the top question them, you also get accustomed to show working. So now we end up with a question where we end up with subtraction, multiplication, addition, and division in the same question. So here's what I've been telling my day school students and my evening face-to-face students to do. I've been telling them to write down the mnemonic right above the problem. Now, when you write down the mnemonic here, what that does is that it gives you something to rely on. And that something that you're relying on is not your brain. You're relying on just looking up and looking down. So here's what you do. You ask yourself the question. The question you ask yourself is there a P in the question? Do you see any brackets in the question? No, you do not. There is no presence of any parentheses, so we cross this off the list. Next question. Do you see any E in the question? Do you see anything that is raised to any power? You don't see any 2 squared or 3 cubes or 2 to the half, or you don't see anything with a power? No, you do not. So you cross off the E. Next, now you look at the multiplication. Do you see any multiplication? Yes, sir, I do. There's a multiplication here. So you're going to do just that part of the problem and write down everything else. So you're going to go ahead then and you're going to say 15, take away the result of 9 times 3. That is 27. Plus 8 divided by 2. So, sir, why I couldn't just divide at the same time? I didn't say you can't. You can. It's just that I'm working the problem 1 step at a time. So I'm working out the problem 8 divided by 2, 1 step at a time. So I've completed the multiplication part. I'm going to go ahead then and I'm going to cross off my M. Then I'm going to go ahead and do my D part of my problem. So I'm going to go ahead and write down my 15 minus my 27. And then I'm going to write down my plus and I'm going to divide the 8 by 2. So I'm going to grab my brackets here. I'm going to show the marker that I'm working out that part of the problem. Then 8 divided by 2 is 4. All right, so I've gotten rid of the multiplication and I've gotten rid of the division. Now I end up with addition and subtraction. And here's where addition and subtraction start to begin to wrestle. Them start to say, me first. So naturally, PEMDAS is saying, hey, add first. But if you decide to add, just as how Chelsea and Samantha was inquiring, do I do this? Or do I do that? Or do I do this? Give me a sec. It should come off by now. Don't know why it's taking so long. Okay. All right. So it's either you're going to do this and get the question wrong because you just changed the 27 to, you just changed the negative 27 to 27. So your brain will calculate say 30, say 31. Or if you're going to use that, if you're gonna force yourself to add before you subtract, then be very mindful that you need to go ahead and bracket the sign like this. And then you're gonna see that negative 27 plus 4 is actually negative 23. So this could be 15, take away 23. So therefore your answer is going to be equal to negative 8. So if you want to do it like that and force yourself to add before you subtract, no problem. Or you can just simple work the problem from left to right, right? So you can just go ahead then and say 15, take away 27. That's going to be what? Negative, what is this going to be? Negative 12, also? I think so, negative 12. Talk to me now, guys. Is it negative 12?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Negative 12 plus 8. And if you owe 12 or you have 8, or you pay the 8 that you have, you still end up. Sorry, not 12, not 8, sorry, 4. It should be 4, pardon me. Right, so if you end up owe 12 and you have 4, or you pay the 4 that you have, you end up owing 8. So it really boils down, ladies and gentlemen, to your personal preference. It's what you prefer. It's what you like. You just have to just understand, say, okay, I like it this way, so I need to ensure that I remember to do that. Or, you know what, I'm just going to work it this way since it's easier. It is your choice. Either ways, you're going to have to get the same answer. Okay, clear? Are there any questions, ladies and gentlefolks? I'm checking the chat to see if there's any questions. All is good? Excuse me, sir. I did it a different way and I got the same answer. Well, if you get the same answer as I did, then that means whatever you did is mathematically approved. So that is fine. It means you didn't break any rule. You just did maybe one step before the other, but you should be okay. All right? Bernard says he's good. Farah says she has no questions. Amelia, I hope I answered your question. No problem. Ajir says he's good. Wonderful. Great. Dominic says he's good. Miss Hyman says she's good. And no, sir. Oh, no, sir, mean you don't have any questions? Okay, good. Thought that no, sir, meant no, sir, I don't understand. All right, thank God. You're good to me. All right. I'm not hearing from Miss McClarty. You're staying too quiet, you know. Miss McClarty, where are you?
Sir, I'm active in the chat.
Oh, I don't see your name.
I just didn't answer this question a while ago because I was attending to my daughter.
Okay. Amelia, who says they want me to go back over? And which part exactly? What part of it did I... It's kind of hard to go back over the question because we do have a lot to do. So is there a specific part that I did something that the person does not understand? And who is that person? I'm not seeing the person.
They typed it in the chat. They typed it in the chat.
I'm looking in the chat. I don't see it. Oh, could you go over it again after you're finished? That's Dav. Which part of it, Dav? Which part do I need to go back over? Not the entire thing. Is there a specific part in the question that I did something that you missed out on? We can start it from there. Or I can do another one and see if we can catch it. 15, take open bracket. Okay. It's negative 27 plus 4. Right. That part, because that part there is where you're kind of following PEMDAS. Up here, where we spoke about if you want to follow the exact rule. Oh, you must be new. You must be new. If that question suggests that this may have been your first class, or maybe you haven't done a revision on our last class, remember that negative 27 is an amount that you owe. You're probably getting, oh yeah, it has to be. My students from the last class would be asking this question. But nevertheless, negative 27 represents an amount that you owed have, and the 4 is an amount that you have. You're probably adding 27 plus 4 and writing down negative 31. That's probably what you're doing. The negative 27 is the amount that you owe, and the 4 represents what you have. So you're going to pay 4 out of the 27 that you owe, and it means then that you would still owe me 23, not negative 31. So once you watch, yeah, man, it's okay. Once the recording has not been posted, so I can forgive you for this one. Okay? Yeah, man, it's fine. It's okay. All right. So when the recording is posted, you can check out. We did some questions like this one. That's why you don't really find anybody having a problem with that negative, positive type of thing. All right. Wonderful. Great. Let's do another example. What time is it? 8:15. I need to start moving faster in this class. Faster in terms of like getting more stuff done. Okay. But here we go. All right. So we're gonna look at this one then. And I haven't given you any to try. Let's look at this one. Let's do one with everything in it. Right? Let's skip past the whole basics because I feel like you guys are smart enough to follow me. So let's look at this one. Let's say we have 10. Oops, pardon me. Let's say we have 10 minus 3 squared times 4 plus 5 times 3, open bracket, 10. Why do I always love 10? Why do I love 10 so much? 3 times 15 minus 11. All right? So this question, right, normally, guys, I wouldn't actually go so far and give you this question right away. I would have done one of the other ones and then I would give you one to try, but we're running out of time and I need to get you guys to try one on your own. So I need to complete this one and then give you one like this to try. Okay? So here we go. This question has everything. Let's look at what it has. We have a subtraction sign, we have an E, we have an M, we have an A, we have another M here. I should have actually put a division here. Hold on, guys. I need to put a division. All right, hold on. Let me see here. I need to insert a division somewhere. Let's erase this. So that's going to be plus. Let me see. Let's put 24 here. 24 divided by. Yeah, that's what we're going to put there. Very good. So what do we have then? Let's look at what we have. In this question, you have everything. Please bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a question like this, which is not going to be on CSEC, but most likely on one of my assessments, I'm not even going to put all the signs in it. I'm probably going to put like maybe 4 of the 6. Or at most, if I want to be cruel, I'll put 5 of the 6. But I'm never going to put all 6 in one question. All right? But this here is to show you the importance of following rules. Okay? So here we go, guys. 10 minus 3 squared times 4 plus 24 divided by 3, open bracket, 15 minus 11. How do we work our problem like this? Follow the rule. Do not say you get nervous and do not say it's difficult because it's not. All you're going to do is follow the rule of PEMDAS. Let's zoom up a little bit here. All right, here we go. All right, lovely. All right, here we go. Then, ready. So now we're going to cross off some stuff. What do we have and what we don't have? Do we have any P? Do we see any brackets in the question? Yes, we do. There's one right out here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work out that part of the question first. If you know the maths to a level, you can work out all 2 parts one time. I could work out the 3 squared and then times by the 4 same time. But you know what? I'm taking my time. So I'm going to go ahead and write 10 minus. I could work this out right now, you know. I could work it out right now and write down 9. But you know what? I'm going to wait. 3 squared times 4 plus 24 divided by 3. And this here is what we call an implied multiplication sign. Now, for you to understand what we mean by implied multiplication, it's almost like seeing a woman with a ring on her ring finger. Would you walk up to her and ask her if she's married? No, that would be a silly question because the ring implies marital status. Even if she's faking it, it still implies marital status. So therefore, in maths, there's some things that we're not going to explain. It's kind of understood. So therefore, You see that 3 that is in front of the 15 minus 11? It simply means that when you work out what is inside that bracket, the parentheses, you're going to multiply the result by 3. So therefore then, I'm going to remove this 3 here, and I'm going to work out the 15 minus 11. 15 minus 11 is 4. So therefore, 4 times 3 gives us 12. So the brackets are gone. Not true? Hopefully you guys catch that. So the 15 minus 11 is 4. And then because the 3 is outside the bracket and the bracket implies multiplication, I just use the 3 to multiply what is on the inside, which is 4, and I get 12. Okay? So now the brackets are gone. Next thing I'm going to look at is, since the P is gone, I'm going to look at the E. So E now is this. So we're going to end up now with 10 minus this. Now, many students often make the mistake of saying 3 squared is 6. 3 squared is not 6, ladies and gentlemen. Let's write a note here. 3 squared is not equal to 6. 3 squared is equal to 3 times 3, which is equal then to 9. So be very mindful that 3 squared means the 3 will multiply itself 2 times. Later on, we'll discuss more about powers of a number. So for now, let's run with it. 9 times 4 plus 24 divided by 2. I could actually work out the 24 divided by 12, you know. But like I said, I'm doing it one step at a time. When you become a master at it, trust me, if I'm working this question at 2 lines, we get a 2, maybe the most, 2 lines to work it out, and the last line is to write down my answer. But we're taking our time. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Let's go. So now we end up with what then? Multiply and divide. Not true? So now with E gone, we now left with multiplication. And here's the multiplication right here. We're going to go ahead and multiply. So we're going to have 10 minus, and we're going to have 9 times 4 is 36. 36 plus 24 divided by 12. So the multiplication is gone. Next now, we're going to divide. The divide is at the end. 10, take away 36, plus 2. Not true? Let me put some brackets around the ones that I'm working out. Right? The part there, yeah. Let me see how one I work out a while ago. I'm going to work out that part here. So I'm work out that part here, and we get 12. Then we work out the part here, and we get 9. And then we work out the 9 times 4, and we get 36. Then we work out the 24 divided by 12, and we get 2. And now we boil down to this part here, we're going to work out the 10 minus the 36. Remember, subtraction and addition are tied for priority. So therefore, in this case, because subtraction appears before addition, we're going to go ahead and we're going to subtract before we add. 10 take away 36. Remember, the 36 is an amount that is owed, and the 10 represents an amount that we have. Therefore, 10 take away 36 is negative 26 plus 2. And therefore, our final answer is negative 24. Because you owe 26 and you only have 2, pay the 2 that you have, and you still owe me an amount of 2. All right? Lovely. So this represents what is called the order of operations. And please note that the print is not a formula, guys. Okay, a lot of you guys will refer to this as a formula. It's not a formula. It is a principle that is applied in every mathematical problem you will encounter. So if you're going to be doing fractions in our future topic, anyhow you're asked to multiply and add fractions at the same time, remember you have to multiply the fraction first, then add the fraction last. The rule is applied as long as you are operating on the...
Mr. Pierce,
Yes, go ahead. Question.
isn't it negative 24 is the answer?
Negative 24. Yes, I'm so sorry. I left off the 4. Thank you very much. Negative 24. All right. So be very mindful of this. Now, if I do another example, I think we're going to go over time. I am very, very drained. But if you guys want to try one, or you guys just want us to kickstart to our next class next week with a revision example and then give you one to try, then we move on to the next topic. What do you prefer? You want to try one now, or you just want to finish up this part of the class to start the next class? You can tell me in the chat. We have 6 minutes to the hour. What do you guys prefer to do? I think you guys are probably tired. I'm thinking that you guys are tired.
Sir, I have a question.
Oh, you want to try now? I have a question. Go ahead. Sam says she want one with the power.
Sir, how did you get the
Go ahead. I'm listening.
how did you get 12? Where the 3, the 15 and the 11 is?
How did I get the 12? 15 minus 11 is 4. And 3 times 4 is 12.
Okay.
Devon, you can do it that way, Devon. You can use the distributive law and do it that way. So if you want to say 3 times 15 is 45, minus 3 times 11 is 33, 45 minus 33, Devon, is still 12. So if you want to do it that way, you can. All right? Next class. I see, try now, please. A lot of persons are saying that they want to try one now. So majority holds, we're going to go over time then. That's what you guys decide. You guys have a go at this one. I see a lot of persons say they want to try one now. So we're working with the majority. All right? Yeah. Amelia wants to try. Simonia wants to try. Adir wants to try. Dominic, you're the only one that look like you want, like you're tired, you know. Like you're just some hard leave off a morning boss like me. All right, we're gonna have to give them a try. They're excited, so we're gonna keep them excited. Guys, you guys try this one on the live, okay? All right, so try this one for me. All right, we're gonna zoom it up a little bit. All right, lovely. All right, so you guys try this. Yes, go ahead. I'm listening.
Please write the 4 beside the 2.
I erased it a while ago.
No,
Oh,
you
Lord.
don't. Make it look like a 4.
Okay, that's good enough.
Yes, sir.
All right, lovely. All right, so guys, you try this one, okay? All right, so 15 take away 4 multiplied by 7 minus 5 times, I don't want times that's all. All right. Give me a second, guys. I want to give you a nice one, guys. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on. It's not finished, guys. It's not finished. Hold on. So 15 take away 4 times 7 minus 5. Can be anything, really. Okay. Divided by 2 plus 3 cubes plus 2 cube plus 3 cube, right? Yeah. So subtract, all right. So subtract, add, divide times 4. Yeah. All right. There's one, guys. Have at it. Shoot your shot. Okay. I'm still timing you. I'm not going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to give you 2.5 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 and 30. Okay. Go ahead. Your time is going to start now. Do not shout out your answer. Okay. And I'm looking for the chat. As soon as you get your answer, you can just leave it in the chat. Okay. I don't think anybody's going to be honest to just copy and paste somebody's answer just to look pretty. I doubt anybody's going to do that. I'll be very surprised. So as soon as you finish, leave it in the chat. I'm watching the chat. Remember, it's not a race. It's not a who finished first. It's who get it right. Watch the timer, guys. got to work with a time frame. The chat should be lighting up in about 30 seconds. All right. $152 megabytes. I've seen two same answer. Ajir, are you working on your computer? Oh, what is your answer? 38 or 152? Which one? All right, hold on to it. Ajir says 152. Karida says 38. I don't see anybody else messaging me. Time is running out, guys. 40 seconds. Why is the chat not lighting up? 119. A police call, Mr. Francis. 119. All right, 2 persons say 119, so 119 and 38 is under competition. Another 119. It's carried there, sure. You don't want to check 119 and leading. Or you want to hold faith and stay with your answer? Which one? 119 and lead. Hanson say 119, Paul say 119, Lawrence say 119, Francis say 119, Finn say 119. Aye, aye, aye. Time is up. What is going on in my chat? So me tell you, if they just make we just go on home, and come back. I'm tired by the chat. 120, 119. Okay, let us see. 119 is leading. 38 is same here. Let us find out. All right, here we go. So let's see what we have. P. What? Bolande. What's going on here? Lisa freeze. Oh my lord. Hold on, guys. It's freezing. Okay. Oh, 19. Amila says 119. Let us see what's going on here. All right, so let us hear what PEMDAS has to say. PEMDAS is always our go-to guy, right? So PEMDAS. Bet you some person say, oh, I made a mistake.
I'm not seeing the screen.
You're not seeing my screen? Oh, I'm so sorry. Screen share ended. I don't know why it ended. I guess the device is getting a bit hot. Are you seeing my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Lovely. Let us see. All right. So 119 and 38 is under heavy competition. Mr. Wright is saying 23. Let's find out then now. All right, ready now. So P, where is the P? Right here. So we're gonna have 15 minus, we're gonna just work out that part here first. So 7 minus 5 is 2. And we know so this is implied multiplication. So 4 times 2 is 8. Divided by 2 plus, I could work out that first if I wanted to, but it's okay. 3 cubed times 4. All right? All right, so now that the parentheses is gone, let's look at the E. Now 15, take away 8, divided by 2 plus 27 times 4. 3 cubes, I hope nobody no write 9, you know. I hope nobody in here no write 9. Because the person never get 28, you know. 38 now, bits are 9 there, right? Lord have mercy. I hope one don't write 3 3s is 9, because we just telling up here, so say, you know. The 3 to the 3 means the 3 multiplies itself 3 times. So for those who get 38, you know, that's you know, you know. Okay. All right, let's go. So now the E is gone. M now. M and D. So it doesn't matter what M and D. If we do D first and then M, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to just do D first. 15 minus 4. Because this is 8 divided by 2. That's all? Right. 7 minus 5 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 divided by 2. Right. All right. And then we end 15. Take away 4. Plus 27 times 4. That's 108. That's all. 4 2s is 8. 4 7s is 28. 28 and 8 is 108. Then now we're going to move on up. Moving on up. Moving on up. 15 take away 4 is 11. Hola. Oh, the persons that got 119, you can clap yourselves. Very good. Miss Arma 38, reveal what it is that you have done wrong. Where did you go wrong, my 38?
Sir,
Yes, I'm listening to you, Miss Bailey.
I think I forgot I didn't add on the times 4. I think I started working on the question before you finished writing the question.
Oh, that's why.
Times 4. So I had everything else except the time 4.
Okay. Yeah, man. So you have to just wait till you hear the question.
The 4, where did that 4 come from? Did you put it in a while ago?
No, it was there.
It wasn't there.
So good. Let me leave it for 2.5 minutes, you know, so I couldn't have put it there. I left you for 2.5 minutes. All right, you didn't see the 4? All right, make sure you pay attention. Maybe it was this thing that was blocking you guys. Maybe. Could be that thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you guys got the idea. Please look out for a post in Google Classroom that will summarize or will have activities on what we have done tonight, along with what we've done last class. And then you can upload to your Google Classroom, and I will look at them as soon as I can. As soon as I get the chance, I'll look at them. I don't think you guys need to submit it. We can look at them, work them in class and so forth. All right. All right. Why would we add before we subtract? Ashley say, why, sir, why would we not add before we subtract? It's not that you can't, you can, but bear in mind the sign. So when you say add, Ashley, if you're gonna add before you subtract, make sure you add it, sir. And it's not so. So if you say 4 plus 8, 108, 112, you know how that go. Because we've been talking about it since night. So if you're going to force yourself to add before you subtract, even when the subtract is there, bear the sign in mind, Mr. Ashley. Okay? So bear that in mind. The definition is in the group. Okay, sir, could you please send the classroom code to the WhatsApp group? I will. All right, Ashley, so just bear that in mind, okay? All right, guys, I know you guys are tired. It has been a wonderful session, I think. I enjoyed it. I will see you all next week. Have yourself a productive, safe, and peaceful evening. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Bye.